This the Black Powder Podcast. Kick up your feet, lean on your armrest, and get your mind blessed on this conquest. Hold a grip like a 12 gauge. Let this moment kick. Black people moving and having some gun ownership. I carry weight, not to keep the camera safe. It's thinking about you, my kids, and my parents' faces. The big topics they don't wanna involve us. Think we're novice, but now we're moving hard with revolvers. This the Black Powder Podcast. Let's get it started.
Primers hit, the powder is lit. It's time to get on target. Welcome to another episode of the Black Powder Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Yasuke Fett. And just a general reminder of your marching orders and why we have created the Black Powder Podcast. The main mission is to change the social view of black society and firearms. How do we do that? Glad you asked. We talk, walk, read, write, and think about it to find a better solution for a brighter future for the proper protection of black people. Join us through education, practice, and safety as we take down the stigma of black people and guns, one discussion at a time. And just a general reminder, you cannot do a mag dump without a couple of rounds. So if you like what you're hearing and you happen to like this show, send out an email to blackpowderpodcast@gmail.com and let me know what your favorite episode is. Whether or not you agree, disagree, or have questions, please make sure to send them to blackpowderpodcast@gmail.com. And always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. The only way to continue to grow is to continue to share this knowledge with other people. And the only way to even get the message out is to let everyone know. So once again, if you like what you heard and would like to continue to hear, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, you can find us on multiple platforms, especially the main ones. As of recently, we are now on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcast, Amazon Music.
Anytime that, we get together and we're doing positive things and like trying to improve different parts of our lives and getting different perspectives from people who live different ways, I think that that is a great thing. But the one thing that I will say about competition shooting, and we probably should have talked about this earlier. I think one of the only detrimental, I don't want to say it's detrimental, but it's not cheap. To buy ammunition. It's not guns. I mean, you can buy cheap guns. But you know what I mean? Like, if you're getting the reps and you're training and you're trying to learn, you're going to have to spend money, because a thing that would surprise a lot of people, like shooting sports and people who shoot a lot, it's not just like country bumpkins and just rednecks. There are doctors and lawyers and engineers. Mm-hmm. These are most of the people I shoot with are like engineers and doctors and people, the half of them are blue collar, a lot of blue collar people, a lot of people who are in the police or, retired police or former police, people who are active duty in the military or Army reservists, or veterans, like, you know what I mean? Like I say, attorneys and doctors and engineers and, animators or, people who work in the movie and film business. All types of people do it. And I think that the only thing is, like I said, I mean, depending on what you do and how much you shoot, there is an expense to that. So I know there are some people that could be a reason why they don't do it. It's, hey, maybe you don't have the capital to constantly go out there. You know what I mean? But where there's a will, there's a way, because if you can get good training in with like a box of 50 ammo. You get one box of 50. And if you have a plan when you go to the range, that 50 rounds can go a long way. And a lot of people don't have a plan when they go to the range. They just go and shoot. You know what I mean? But there are certain things that you can do, because lots of times, and my plan, but I'm just talking about being my plan is like, oh, I'm just going to take this one box and, I've got a plan and I'm going to do all this and other. And then I'll have like 3 other boxes in my bag. And next thing I know, I done ran through, 300 rounds. And it's like, oh my God, I could have used this to shoot matches. But,
and I ain't gonna lie, brother. I think it was Ammo Depot. They had a pallet on sale for, I think, $10,000. I was like, let me see how many people I can get together to see if we can break this pallet down and its price too. But
that's what you have to do. Like, that's what we do a lot is we have different groups where, hey, y'all want to go in, and like get a bulk purchase, it could be cheaper, or like there won't be any shipping, and all of these types of things. And you just have to kind of keep your ear out. One of the things that I do to kind of is I have like a dummy email address, right? And it's like an email address where I'll go to different websites, like let's say Palmetto State Armory, grab a gun, Sportsman's Target Sports USA, or Sportsman's Outdoor Superstore. I subscribe to their newsletter, and they're going to send you 2 or 3 emails with like, a deal on this or a sale on
Mm-hmm.
this. And you just use that dummy email address to look. And then when you find a good deal, that's when you jump on it. And the funny thing is, around election time, there's going to be a run on guns, and there's
Yep.
going to be a run on ammunition. So you can totally expect, like, for there to be a price surge, you know what I mean, later on
Mm-hmm.
in the year. And the funny thing about COVID, and I always giggle at this, was I started competition shooting during COVID. And then I finally got up the courage, like, you know what, I'm just going to post my videos, and just kind of show my journey, doing this thing. And I remember, and you remember, like you couldn't get nothing. Like there was just, either the shipment took too long or you just couldn't find it. You know what I mean? And the
Or
ammo
in my
prices were through
case,
the roof.
I ordered
And
from Cheap as Dirt, and I got my
oh
order,
no,
but dude, the book they had somebody had went through and picked the rounds out of the box. I got one box is like boxes of I think 50, right? One
yeah.
box had 11 rounds in it. Another one had like 23. I mean,
Oh wow,
yeah.
that
And this
is.
was around
I
COVID,
would
like you
have.
said.
Oh, I would have been just totally hot. But first of all, cheaper than dirt's a scam. Like I would never like that. They are totally like that is the most calling themselves cheaper than dirt is just it's a punchline in the community anyway, because their prices are remarkably higher than everybody else's,
Yeah.
and they were really taking advantage of people. Like I will never give those people my money. Like they just COVID really showed how just savage they were, you know what I mean? So I
I
won't even
I
no.
can say this much though. I did get refunded, and the customer service was on point. I will give them that.
Oh
I'll
well,
give
that's
them
a
that
plus.
much.
Well,
But
that's
that's
definitely a
anecdotal.
plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you have to do is you just kind of have to hustle and to find deals. But like during COVID, it was funny. Like I was saying, when I was posting the videos of when I was first starting competition shooting, um, prior to COVID, I had a stash of like ammunition. So when I started posting videos of me shooting all the time during COVID, people were like, "Hey man, where you getting the ammo?" I was like, I mean, I had it. Like I was that guy that people would say, "Why the hell are you buying all that ammo?" Yeah, you know what I mean? What are you, some type of a prepper, or you're some type of this, that, and the other? And then COVID hit, and then I'm shooting every week. You know what I mean? Shooting, sometimes 2 matches a week during COVID, and people are like, "Oh my God, he's a prophet." Like you know what I mean? And everybody else is paying $20, 25, and up to $50 a box, and it's like, nah, bro, you can't no. And you
You
know what I'm
know,
saying? So
I want to say this. It's something funny, man. It might sound kind of cheesy, but you remember how I let you shoot some of that 6 hour ammo, and you gave me a box of your ammo?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I refuse to shoot that box. I'm over here like this is friendship ammo. I can't shoot.
Just like, just like in a, you know what you should do? You should shoot that box at your first match.
You know what? That's not
It
a bad
might give you,
idea.
it might, it might, you know, some pixie dust is on it or something like that.
More like
But
a gunpowder or something, you know.
well, and yeah, and just like when we were talking about our chapter of NAGA, there are so many good people. Like a lot of people, I mean, because you knew that that Z, she's one of the people who wrote the what is it, like what they call them, amicus briefs or whatever, for the Bruin decision. Like she wrote that. It was actually Clarence Thomas actually cited the brief that Z had wrote in his ruling in the Bruin decision, and it was
Oh,
like, yeah, like yeah, NAGA and Z did. Z is an attorney. Yeah,
oh
you know
yeah.
what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And no, so it's like people. when people talk about political parties and what they think that their so-called base is into, you know, a lot of people are going to get their eyes open to, you know, how, especially here in the state of Georgia, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in this community, how we feel about the right to bear arms. And they don't, that's something else. You know, Stacey, you know, our chapter of NAGA had reached out to Stacey Abrams because of some of the rhetoric that she was talking about guns. And they reached out to her, hey, you know, are you willing to come sit down with us, you know, and just talk about it, you know, da 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 da. And they would turn the NAGA down
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying, that's not what those liberals would want. You know what I mean?
Uh,
And it's
yeah.
like, okay, well, whatever. Like,
We
all right,
tried.
no sweat up our backs. We're just trying to let you know how your messaging is just not. You know, you need to kind of understand how you need to message on certain things, and those are the types of things that you should embrace. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just things are just kind of interesting, but yeah, you know, hey, you're in the right place. You know, we're here in Georgia, and like I say, the community is very robust. There's lots of people who look like us. I mean, you know, we got these black owned ranges down here. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's popping. So we're in a very bountiful place for like knowledge and community, you know, in this space. And it's one of the things that I'm just so happy that I got involved in. You know, hey, you know, I met you, you know what I mean? There's lots of good people in our chapter of
Friendship
NAGA.
ammo.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, to support the space for all of us, man, you know. And well, I don't have any hope that the messaging around, you know, black people or, you know, Latinos, you know, all of the groups that for that brief second that people were pointing out, you know, were getting involved in this space. I think that it's really going to hurt some of these politicians when they try to overreach, when they expect that people are just going to line up like lemmings and keep giving their votes away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and I hope it does because you know, around the same time we were increasing our firearm purchases. You also, sorry for cutting you off, man. It's just passionate about it, but you know, around the same time we were increasing our firearm purchases, we also had the whole Stop Asian Hate thing come out, which in
yeah,
turn kind of made it seem like it was quote unquote black versus yellow. But at the end of the day, that's not what it's about, man. We've got people that are interested in this sector who aren't sitting here trying to, you know, sit back talking about, yeah, we're going to come in there, we're going to jack up the Asian people because, you know, 80% of us are now owning
yeah,
firearms. Like, no, that's the fear mongering
yes,
is
absolutely.
it starts whenever you got somebody who's in politics who doesn't, and I know I said I wasn't going to go back there, but I got to get this out. The fear mongering is controlled by politicians, but whenever you have actual real people who are partaking in this stuff, who can
Yeah,
see other people of other colors that are actually there too, it makes you realize, okay, so what I saw on TV was some BS. We got to come together to figure out a way to counter that narrative and get other people to see it. Just like you said, you know, NAGA reached out to Stacey Abrams. NAGA was the one that it's not like we were trying to convert her to firearms, but if anything, we were trying to make sure that she as a black woman could go out there and represent black people and look good while doing it. Because
yeah,
there's a larger group of people who've been doing this for a longer time that already
yep,
have their preconceived notions about black people and firearms. So
yes.
she really
Under
should have followed up on it.
kind of like giving, you know, just her an understanding about the type of rhetoric that is either isn't correct, or to give her an understanding about the sub communities that really pay attention to this stuff. Like, you know, on one hand, you've got one political party that all the political parties fearmonger, but you've got one political party that part of their bread and butter is trying to scare black people into voting for them. Like, oh, hey, you know, we all know about you know, systemic racism and things like that. But when you get when you get a person coming and basically saying, hey, you know, The white supremacists are coming to get you while at the same time trying to take away your ability to have weapons on par and equal to those that want to do you harm. That's a messaging problem. Don't tell me the
Mm-hmm.
man's coming to get me, and at the same time, you want me butt naked in these streets just to, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
like,
sitting
no,
there talking about if I open
yeah,
up an OnlyFans, maybe they'll think that I look sexy enough to leave alone. I mean,
yeah, it's
I
like the messaging is totally messed up. But once again, what they say, a hard head makes for a soft ass. So they're
mm-hmm.
going to kind of find out that some of the stuff that they're trying to do, a lot of people aren't going to go for it. You know what I mean? So, I don't even
Yeah,
have it on my wish list for people to have legit conversations on things because everybody wants to be in their bubble. Everybody wants to kind
the
of
echo chamber.
um, yeah, and also like we know there's lots of situations where people can get emotional over, but you can have a educated conversation, but you have to keep the emotions out of it. Yeah, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean, and understand that everybody don't wear the same shoes, and you don't totally understand other people's points of view, and the rational voices are always the ones that get drowned out, and the bad news is always the stuff that's trending. So
Yeah.
that is something that I don't think is going to go anywhere anytime soon in the in the age of the 24-hour news cycle. Like back when I was young, TV and news had dignity. Like at 11 o'clock, it went to static and it didn't come
Wolf
back on
Blitzer.
until, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Walter Cronkite, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't come back on until like, 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning the next day. We don't have that
Right.
anymore.
That's who
You
it was,
know,
Cronkite. He would just come out and say,
yeah.
I'm Walter Cronkite, and this is the news. Like he wouldn't.
Well, yeah.
He had no bias against it whatsoever. This dude was just giving
Yep.
you the news like it was.
But
You're
remember,
right.
you didn't. Now it's not news. It's a bunch of opinion people. You,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's everybody giving their opinions, and it's just like, look, just tell me what's going on and get the hell off my screen. You know what I mean? But those days are gone. So I
Yeah.
think we just need to be guarded about the information that we get. No disinformation, misinformation, da 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 da.
Yeah.
We're
I
just in a
agree
causal
because
loop of crap.
yeah, and I agree because especially around COVID when I was listening to news a whole lot more. I wasn't just listening to one news source. I literally had to go and listen to multiple news sources, left leaning, right leaning, center, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian,
Yep,
because you
exactly.
couldn't afford just to say this is my party and I'm going to listen to them because they're going to lead me right. Like no, you had to
Yep.
know you had to sift through so much bullshit to figure out what the actual truth was, and sadly enough, that was one thing that got certain members of our black society caught up during COVID because you had a lot of people sitting back talking about we're immune to it, we're going to get our superpowers, and this
Hmm.
was it was ignorant. Just like on the far right leaning, you had Herman Cain, who was like, "It's not real. I don't believe it's going to affect us." Lo and behold, he dies, but yet his Twitter is still popping, which is
Yep.
which is weird.
Oh, trust me, you know that there was memes and trending stuff about that as well. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
but you're right. I mean, like independent news is starting to take off, a little bit more because, like, you have the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the things that are obviously left, and then you have like what is it, OWN and Fox News, which is obviously right. Like, I like all types of folks. Like, I love Glenn Greenwald. He be blowing the draws off folks. Like, I like, I like those type of, you know, um, some of these organizations that really aren't they're not partisan. They just really point out how both parties are trash on like all of the issues. So I
yeah,
think once because we all know that newspapers are a dying thing, and mainstream news, like their ratings are just cratering, and people are really fed up with it. And like I said, they're panicking,
yeah.
and to
They
me, that's just a
they
good
need
thing.
to, because I mean, even in our sector, whenever you've got like uh the old black media versus the new black media, because you'll have dudes like Roland Martin, you'll have the griot, you'll have things that were supposed to be geared towards us as unified black people that they only went they really just what is it called? Go along with the get along game. That's basically what they were doing. So now that you've got the
Yep.
new black media, your Professor Truth, your Jason Blacks, you got uh
Yep.
the granted they might be controversial, but nonetheless they do speak the truth. It's like there's things that they speak on that make you go, yeah,
Stabby
they got a point
Sabs.
there. Yeah.
Yep. Stabby, like all of the, I mean, you're right though, but like those are the types of organizations and the type of things that make people who are kind of indoctrinated in one side or the other, it makes them uncomfortable. And nobody
Hmm.
ever wants to think that, air quotes, their side is doing bad stuff. And it's like, nah, bro, like there's a laundry list of bad stuff that the left and the right do, which is why people are starting to get pushed away. You know what I mean? Or at least enough people that can turn elections. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
You're right.
uh, but that's what you need, though. Sometimes you need. I think that's the greatest motivating factor for a lot of things is just being uncomfortable. And then once you dig down and you start finding out like how you know a lot of politicians and a lot of stuff are just absolute trash. Uh,
Hmm.
it's kind of the best empowerment that I've had is the ability to know that the system and like the main political parties are trash. Well, I mean, hell, even the system with some of these third party people is straight trash because a lot of these
Hmm.
people are pulled one way or the other. Like I said, you follow the money. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
You're
And
right about that. Or follow the
you're
money or follow the lack of money, in
yeah,
certain cases.
and you're never gonna. I mean, there's no perfect politicians. Everybody's gonna have something that you don't like or that you don't agree with. The problem is you have so many people that will ignore the bad that they'll ignore the bad because they like somebody or they feel like they're on a certain side. And it's like, no, that's how they get you. Like, it's
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? They want you to hate the other side so much to where you're saying, yeah, what you've heard the term, the lesser of two evils. It's like, well, why vote for evil at all? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Or,
Yeah,
or one of my favorite quotes from the Black Authority, Jason Black in general, is like, if we all can't be comfortable, we can all be equally uncomfortable.
absolutely. I
That's the
like
truth,
that.
man.
It is. It
Well,
is.
shoot,
But,
I'm about to
but
let you go, man, because I know you hadn't eaten anything, and that coffee cup is probably empty right now.
oh yeah, yeah, it totally is. No, but it's been fun. Like I said, if you ever get an opportunity to you know have that round table going, it'll be fun to it'll definitely be fun to chop it up with a lot of these guys because a lot of these guys, a lot of us hang out anyway. You know what I'm saying in the space.
Hmm.
So, I think it'll definitely be it would be a great episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
I'd like
a
to see it
round
happen.
table, and you know what I mean.
I'd
So
like
that
to
would
see
be
it
cool.
happen,
Well,
man. But
I'll help out however I can.
definitely,
Yeah,
man.
and
And okay.
oh no, I was just gonna, I was just gonna throw out a couple of deets. You know what I mean? Just to kind of let people know. You can find me on like Instagram, Brass King TV. Militant underscore marker. That's where I would say to go. I also have a YouTube channel, which is Brass King TV as well. So, hey, go in, look at some videos. Drop a line or whatever, or you know what I'm saying? Just, to kind of get in the space. Because definitely I know that I have enough and, Silas and all those other guys have enough content just for people, to just kind of see the type of events that we shoot at and, what we're up to. And most of the videos don't have music. All you're going to hear in the background is people laughing and having fun. So hopefully we'll get more people that look like us in the space and just come out for the fun. And like I say, I'm gonna have to drag you, but you're gonna shoot a match. You know what I'm saying? Get out there with me and get out there with a bunch of people that you know. You know what I'm saying? And trust me and have fun.
Yeah, yeah, I'll get there. I get there. I know you're gonna drag me out there, and that's
Yeah.
that's funny because I was actually about to say, yeah, let us know where we can find out your social media, man. Let us know where we can watch you do stuff, and there it was. Shoot.
Yeah, and the other thing that's cool, and I'll say this before we wrap up, is like, a lot of us we don't just post the videos that look good and we don't edit stuff. If we're out there and something happens, like a malfunction or just something, you know what I mean? You're going to see it. Like we just drop the videos because that's part of the process. You know what I mean? Of, hey, you had a malfunction and, it took you some time to clear it and then you lost time, or, you just had a bad match. Hey, we post all of that stuff. And a lot of times when you watch these videos, half the time you're watching those videos, you just see people shooting and they never show you the target. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And it's like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like,
that's one of my pet peeves. It's like, come on now. Come on.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. So that's a good thing about the space is a lot of times, like I say, people post. I mean, well, literally the objective of African American competitive shooters is show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And actually, it's almost fun showing the bad because, it's just the language and people talking back and forth, and you just being frustrated. I mean, that's part of the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I just don't really mind. But I was looking at videos not too long ago of like when I first started shooting, bruh, it looked like I was trying to be safe, but it was like I was a turtle. Like I'm moving so slow and shooting so slow. And then you kind of fast forward to now, you can tell I'm a little bit more confident. You know what I mean? I'm a little more, this and that, like just to see your evolution. And that's kind of cool, and you can do that with any of us, like, with Silas, all of their pages, it's the same thing. You can kind of see how people grow and what they do in the two-way space. So, if y'all want to see when I super sucked, you just, hey, go to my YouTube or go to my Instagram, and if you want to see, me where I'm at now, it's kind of a cool evolution, but you can only get better if you do it. So I'll just kind of close on that note. Just be willing to jump sometimes. You know what I mean? It might be ugly at first, but it'll get a little bit better looking, as you move forward.
This the Black Powder Podcast, let's get it splitting. We got the wisdom hitting targets with a marksman precision. We're having fun in the booth, we're running gun for the truth. Every future black gun owner, we're spreading the news. We do it legal, we're moving regal and blessing the people. Some hopes for the culture, we keep it locked like guns in our holster. Holding it down as we're loading the rounds. If they were nervous back then they're gonna be scared of us now. Black Powder Podcast, we'll be back in a while.